YTBC, what's the deal? So, since Floyd Mayweather has retired, I'm seeing now that they have Roman Gonzalez as the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world. Some of you probably didn't even have Floyd Mayweather as your #1 pound for pound fighter. Some of you had him there. A lot of publications, websites, media have Floyd Mayweather #1. But now that he's retired, they're saying Roman Gonzalez. I've seen some people say Triple G. I've seen some people say, and there's no way in the world that it's not Andre Ward. I've seen people say it's Rigo, Tim Bradley. Some people still throw considerations for Pac-Man. Juan Estrada's another guy who I've seen people give some props to on the list. Cotto, Canelo, list goes on and on, right? To me, this is so easy to figure this out. And some of you may call me heavyweight bias, which I probably am. But to me, and I know we all have a different criteria. This whole pound for pound thing was made up when Sugar Ray Robinson was fighting. It was pretty much, if Sugar Ray Robinson was the same size as every fighter, he would be the best fighter because of his skill set. And that's a way of looking at it. But to me, that's not the only way to look at it. You have to take into consideration, especially in today's landscape, if guys are trying to unify, are they trying to be undisputed? How often do they fight? To me, it's Vladimir Klitschko. Let me get right to it. He's the #1 pound for pound fighter. Now, I'm not going to sit here and, go through this whole way of Roman Gonzalez was a heavyweight. Would he, I don't know if Roman Gonzalez would beat Vladimir if he was a heavyweight. Vladimir has a great jab. Who's to say, if Andre Ward and Vladimir was the same size, who's to say that Andre Ward would be able to get past his jab? We just can't automatically think that, and that sounds kind of weird even bringing it up, but that's how a lot of people, when they come to their conclusion about who's #1 pound for pound, they always tell me if both guys were the same size. And I'm telling you, if you put Vladimir against anybody and they're the same size, I'm not sure they get past his jab. He has one of the best jabs that I've ever seen. So about Vladimir, he won his first world title against Chris Bird in 2000. Okay, I know he lost to Ross Purity in '98, Layman Brewster in 2004, and he got bum rushed by Corey Sanders in '03. But if we just push past the Layman Brewster fight, Vladimir Klitschko hasn't lost a fight in 11 and a half years. He's 21-0 with 15 KOs since the Layman Brewster fight. Now, you don't have to like Vladimir Klitschko. I know a lot of you don't like him. He holds too much. He just canceled a fight with Tyson Fury and pushed it back. I've heard some fans say that they think he's scared. You might not like a lot of things about him. This isn't about if you like him or not. I'm not talking about that. I'm just going by the numbers. I know a lot of you guys like facts, right? So the last 11 and a half years, he hasn't lost a fight. He's had the IBF, the WBO, and the WBA titles since 2011. So he has had 3 titles. He's held them for the last 4 years. The IBF, WBA, WBO. Since 2008, he has at least held 2 titles. So he's at least been a unified champion since 2008. He's at least held 1 title since 2006. Okay, his last 7 opponents, 6 of them, including Tyson Fury, are undefeated opponents. Oh, and the Layman Brewster fight, he ended up beating Layman Brewster 3 years after that. Some of you may say, oh, it was a washed up Layman Brewster. I would say Layman Brewster was fighting injuries. He was injury plagued going into a fight. That fight, I know his knees were messed up, but he always had a knee brace on, even early in his career, Brewster did. And Brewster, after he beat Vladimir, he had 3 successful title defenses, and then he lost a decision close fight to Sergey Liakovic. Then he fought Vladimir, and Vladimir beat him. And that first Klitschko fight, Layman Brewster came in at 226. The second fight, 3 years later, he came in at 228 and 1/4. So he wasn't, 30 pounds overweight. If anything, Vladimir Klitschko came in a half pound more than he did in that first fight. The first fight, he was 243. Second fight against Brewster, he was 243 and a half. Okay. Let's just go through the list of some of these undefeated guys that Klitschko has fought. I know I said his last 7 opponents, 6 are undefeated, but he has fought more than just 6 undefeated fighters. He fought Castillo in 2005, a fight he should have won. It was a fight he looked really good. If you guys get a chance, go watch Vladimir in that Castillo fight. He was calm. He was using his jab. Manuel Stewart did an excellent job in that fight with him. That's how I want to see Vladimir fight all the time. Now, again, it was, Alicio Castillo in front of him, so it might not look like much. But in 2005, Castillo was 18-0 with 1 draw. 2005, he fought Sam Peter, a huge puncher back in 2005. I just did a recent video on who next? Samuel Peter, big puncher back then, feared, 24-0. 2006, he fought Calvin Brock, who was 29-0. We know Brock had to retire because of the eye injury. He was a nice up-and-coming young heavyweight at the time. He beat him. Sultan Ibragimov, he was 22-0 with 1 draw in 2008. Klitschko beat him. 2009, he beat Ruslan Chagayev. Chagayev was 25-0 with 1 draw going into that fight. 2012, he beat Mariusz Wach, who's getting ready to fight Povetkin. Mariusz Wach was 27-0 at the time. 2013, he beat Francisco Pianata. And you could say this guy is, he wasn't really much. Where is he now? But he was 28-0 with 1 draw going into that fight. 2013, he beat Alexander Povetkin, who was 26-0 going into that fight. 2014, he beat Kurbat Pulov, who was 20-0 going into that fight. 2015, he just beat Brian Jennings, who was 19-0 going into that fight. And he's getting ready to fight Tyson Fury. But I forget Tyson Fury's record, but he's undefeated. Okay. And if you just want to throw in a 35-1 Eddie Chambers and a 31-1 Tony Thompson and a 25-1 David Haye, you could throw them in there too. To me, the numbers I just gave you, how can you get better than that? What has Roman Gonzalez done that's better than that? And no disrespect to Roman Gonzalez, and I have to do my due diligence and really watch more of his fights. And maybe I'm not giving him his props. I know he had a good fight with Ron Estrada. Some people are saying it was fight of the year. I know Juan Marquez gave his stamp of approval to Estrada after that fight that he had with Gonzalez, but I don't think Gonzalez has done more than what Vladimir Klitschko has done. Andre Ward, yeah, he won the Super 6, but that shit's ancient now, man. That was 2011. He's fought 3 times in 4 years. His last fight, God bless his soul, but he fought Paul Smith. And I know a lot of overseas guys want to see Paul Smith, and his fans and his contingent want to see him fight Ward, but I didn't. Pac-Man is on a decline. When I say on a decline, I mean he's getting older. He's on his way out. Just like I think Klitschko will be on his way out sooner or later. But those numbers I just gave you, man, and those undefeated fighters, you might not think much of every guy I just named, but they're undefeated. They were hungry, and, they were hungry fighters. When your favorite fighter beats an undefeated guy, people always tell me how, their favorite fighter beat undefeated guys with the O, and they took the guy's O, and the guy was a young, strong contender. Okay, well, when Vladimir does it, we have to give him the same props. I believe he deserved to be number 1 pound for pound. I really don't think it's even close. Some publications I've seen him had him like number 7, number 8. One publication I seen him, they had him receiving votes. They didn't even have him in the top 10. They had like the top 10. Then they had like 5 guys with receiving votes. He was in the receiving votes list. I just don't get it, man. Again, we're not talking about if you like him or not, or the fight that he fought against Povetkin, you didn't like it. That's fine if you don't like him. But those numbers I just gave you, he's been undefeated for almost 12 years. He's fighting, 10 undefeated guys. I don't know, man. Then the guy that he last lost to, he beat him. He knocked him out. So my vote is for Vladimir Klitschko, whether you like him or not. I think he's number 1 pound for pound, hands down. YTBC, I'm out, and I want to hear your opinions. I'm curious. I know you guys are going to disagree with me, but that's fine. I want to see your opinions, and who do you have number 1 and why? YTBC, I'm out.